Hello, folks. Well, this is Miguel from the Embargo Man. Okay, now we have a lesson. What is called this video? It is what it is. You know, you're waiting for it. I think you have seen a commercial for potato chips, and this is what it is. And there was this discussion about football, right? So I know it's called football, but because in meeting for all you guys that you might not know, for people outside the U.S., I think for people outside the U.S., you might just notice it about football, or am I just gonna say it how we play football or how football here in the United States, what is called football, or what is to say football in the rest of the world. Football, USA, rest of the world. That's the video that I'm talking about. USA, rest of the world. Why? Because if you don't live there, or probably you might search on YouTube about Beckham and Tom Brady, and then we're talking about football, or what is called here soccer, right? So let's start with the USA first. The USA football in the USA football, right? So what it is, football known as American football outside the US. It is, you have 11 players, right? So you have the linebacker, the quarterback, and then when you see the running back and all these players, and then you have the defense, and then what it is, if you're playing offense, it is the quarterback have to throw the ball to one of the players. The ball looks like an oval ball, looks like an egg, all right? So the quarterback throws the ball, he passes it in, and it is 10 yards for a first down. You have to run all the way 10 yards. First down, second down, third down, and the fourth down, you're out of here. Then the opponent teams. On the defensive side, you gotta go, line scrimmage, and you gotta go and tackle, most likely tackle players not to advance, and try to also make a sack. Get the quarterback, right? So you can tackle the quarterback. That's the main goal, right? So that's about it. And what it is 50 yards in one end, 50 yards in the other end. The football field is made of 100 yards, right? So 50 yards for a touchdown, 50 yards for the other touchdown. I mean, 100 yards, right? Made out of 11 players, 4 quarters. The 2 quarters is one half, 2 other quarters is the second half. It's 15 minutes for each quarter, right? So you have the biggest event. It is mostly played in the United States. This is why it's called American football outside the US. And in the Super Bowl, it's one of the biggest events. Most likely Tampa Bay won it, or most likely there's every team won. The Cowboys have won some Super Bowls. Oh yeah, the Steelers, one of the Super Bowl. And there is one team right here in Miami, out of football history, American football history, in the NFL, with straight wins, undefeated. It was the 1972 Miami Dolphins with the 17-0 record. Nobody has broke that record since then. So it is played only in the United States, but it's played in some parts of the world. Most likely it's called American football. The NFL is the biggest league in the United States. and you have CFL, and they have you have X League in Japan, but most likely it's played in the United States. American football is in the USA. There's a reason it's called American football. When we call it football here, because it's only played in America. But this is the reason I was just thinking there's one thing for Don King appearing in the commercial, and we might go to football in the rest of the world. Football, rest of the world, known as soccer in the United States. It is made out of 11 players, made out of two periods, two halves, right? So every half or every period lasted 45 minutes or almost 2 hours, all right? So for a full game, of football, known as soccer here, and it is 11 players, same thing. You have the goalie, you have to to have like penalty shots. They have red card, yellow card for yellow card for a warning, and there's like fouls, and and then the call for penalties, penalty kicks, and they have the World Cup as like one of the biggest events in football, or football for the rest of the world. Football in the rest of the world is not American football. This is football for the rest of the world, and it's played with like 32 teams now, but it's gonna be by 48 teams in 2026 because it's gonna be done right here in 3 countries in North America. The organization is called FIFA. And then you have the leagues in Europe, like the Premier, La Liga in Spain, and the Italian league, French league. It is very, and even the MLS here in the United States, known as Major League Soccer. So that sport, or they have everything, the UEFA or any division that they have in there, the body of FIFA. They have all these divisions before starting the World Cup. The World Cup started back in 1930. That's the first World Cup. Uruguay won their first World Cup in 1930. The country with the most titles is Brazil. Brazil has 5 titles. Germany has 4. Italy has 4. Mentioned that Germany went home. They got eliminated. So, it did it right. But what is most interesting of these events, because it has these divisions. They have the AFC division for Asia. They have UEFA for the European teams. All right, they have CONMEBOL for South America, CONCACAF for North America is CONCACAF teams. The CONCACAF teams are the North American division of FIFA that all the North American teams would play at the World Cup, like the United States, Mexico, Canada, Costa Rica, in other words, all these North American countries, including Central America and the Caribbean. Yeah, it's talking about North America, right? That the North America division is CONCACAF, CONMEBOL for South America, UEFA for Europe, AFC for Asia, and then Oceania might have team, and even they have the African League. The African Federation or something like that. One for the African teams. All it is, most of the dominant, countries who have won these FIFA World Cups are from Europe and South America. European countries and South American countries have won these World Cup titles. None of the CONCACAF from the North American division have ever won a World Cup. Not even Asian countries, nor African countries. But this time, if it's in 2022 in Qatar, things would change. Things will change, and then there's one thing, we have lots of surprise. I'm just saying. The U.S. would be good in their men's team, soccer, that's what it's called here. And for the women, I mean, the girls play better than the boys. Yeah, they have more World Cups in women. The girls win more World Cups than the boys, and then, hey, that's it. We all notice that. This is kind of funny because the United States are better in baseball and basketball and some sort of things, and then this would be a lot of a game changer of this World Cup. The FIFA World Cup takes place in Qatar now. It's going to take place in the United States, in Canada, and Mexico in 2026. And is one of the most largest sporting events, equally to the Olympics. I mean, equally as big as the Olympics. Is that like every 4 years, everybody will watch the World Cup. They go there. They go to each city. While the Olympics is just in a certain city, and viewer watch. The viewers to watch the World Cup on television is a lot more than the Super Bowl. I mean, this is just one event. It is as big as the Olympics, and compared to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is just small, I mean, either way, when you compare, it's compared to football in the USA with football in the rest of the world, right? So this is one thing that you might just compare. You just compare it is, okay, for the folks of the United States, football in the rest of the world is called soccer. It's what is called soccer in the United States. And that's what it is. And for folks over there in the rest of the world, talking about American football. So you could watch American football even though it's televised. It's not that big within your country, but in the United States, American football is very big. What we call football. Football USA, known as American football. I mean, is the biggest league in there is called the NFL, National Football League. College football, this is American football now. Football USA now. College football is evilly gives the NFL a run for its money. So if it's the NFL giving them runs for its money for college, then the Thanksgiving this year, out of the Thanksgiving football, NFL games, no college games. Mostly college games would be the most watched, but this year, as the FIFA World Cup has begun for football in the rest of the world, and now to call it what is called in the United States soccer, I mean, probably there would be more viewerships for soccer than football. I mean, they're watching like that, and that one might be one day replace one day the MLS. Would be a very big threat to the NFL. I mean, MLS would be number one in a few years. The NFL is going to be number two in the United States, and then MLS will be big. That means football rest of the world will be very popular, known as soccer in the United States, and football USA would be number two sport, and this is what it is, could be very interesting. Football USA, American football, it is, you have to have shoulder pads, helmets, knee pads, all these gear. It is definitely, they get it from rugby and football. Rugby is the British equivalent without the pads and everything. The ball is bigger, and they have their own tournament. But football USA means that they were I heard things of injuries. I heard things of brains tumors and all this stuff. After playing football USA, American football called outside the US. So, and then football rest of the world, it is very popular. It is bigger, and saying what it is, but what it is the only difference about every other sport, that one sport, two, same name, calling a different name in other parts of the world is just the thing that you want to just compare it. All right, so basketball is basketball all over the world. Baseball is baseball all over the world. Whichever sport that doesn't have a name change, it is still one part of the world that you just call it. Football, on the other hand, USA, American football, known as gridiron sometimes, it is only played is more popular in the United States out of all the countries in the world, right? So, and football in the rest of the world is soccer, known as soccer in the United States, and probably Canada follows along, or whatever you call it. It is a very popular sport, and to all of you, whatever you call it, it is what it is. Just like Don King has said in boxing, Don King is one of these boxing managers. He will say only in America, because football in the rest of the world, only in America, it is called soccer. Only in America. And only in America, we have football USA, known as gridiron, that you have the Super Bowl and all of this, and probably they have competitions of World Cup of American football, but most likely the United States is one of the only countries in the world that this football USA, known as American football outside the US, is most widely played, and there's programs and everything like that. And I knew it is very risky. It is like saying boxing. Boxing, you have your injuries when you get hit in the punch, and then you get hit, knocked down, or whatever. It is a contact sport like any other contact sport that you get hit and whatever. There are some injuries. It is what it is. This is the problem with football USA. Sometimes it is what it is. You have your pros and cons. It's great to watch if you are into American football USA. Okay, football rest of the world, known as soccer in the United States, you could pay attention to it, running and all the skills and the coaches. It is what it is. Most likely that I have seen that where my parents from, Colombia. I mean, Colombia never made it to the Qatar World Cup, right? So for 2026, if there's 48 teams for this football rest of the world, is going to be Italy might be there. Italy is not in this World Cup, and their cheer from Italy is good. Their cheer from Japan is pretty awesome. Japan would be winning the World Cup. They beat Spain, but for chances are this would be like a game changer in this World Cup. But then, for existence, the football USA would be that I hope that a team that I'm rooting for is the Miami Dolphins. I hope they make it to the Super Bowl. But hey, there's just a chance with Tua and the quarterback that we have now, and probably there's some things changes. Let's see what is the outcome. But football rest of the world, I mean, that's what it is. If you're watching this World Cup, is every 4 years. This event, it is as big as the Olympics. Just having comparison apples with oranges. I mean, I would say that whatever you might call it, enjoy, subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. I could tell you everything about it and what it is, talking about football, rest of the world, football USA, football, rest of the world. I mean, football USA is called Gridiron. I mean, the NFL is one of the biggest leagues there, and football, rest of the world, there are so many leagues in different parts of the world that it's called soccer in the United States for marketing reasons or for like whatever it is, but it's only in America that football, rest of the world is called soccer. But in a way, you will enjoy it in your leagues, whatever you live in. Your country of choice could be enjoying Premier League, Liga, Italian League, or whatever. Then it's a very popular sport. I know other countries will practice it. The wave is coming in here, the soccer wave, and we all know that one of these days, we all know that football, rest of the world, would be saying, okay, MLS is number one. That was called soccer. Soccer is only in America. It was called football versus the world. And football USA might be hanging number two one of these days. So see you in the next video. Hit the bell button, and I hope you comment with me. What do you think of football USA, Gridiron, American football, or what you called football rest of the world is called what is called soccer here? Please write me a comment. Is football? Is soccer? No. It's just one sport with a different called football, football USA, football rest of the world, what is called soccer in the USA. Correct me right. I know the name. Football USA is American football. Football rest of the world, I know it's called soccer here. So goodbye and take care.